I'm thinking something like...
Hey, everybody.
Hi, little baby cuties of my heart. Dude.
Y'all are going to love this episode.
How do I feel right now? I feel like when warm, good toast comes out of the toaster and you put your best salted butter on it, like it's glowing, it's warm, you got your good socks on. And you're just cozy. You ain't got shit to do. That's how Madeline Kiel made me feel.
A good description.
Glowy, warm.
She is. Man, and we just skimmed the surface. Yeah. She has such an interesting, beautiful story. And I think we're going to have her back for more.
100%. We've said that before to guests, and we mean it when we're like, yo, you got to come back. With her,
we're going to do it.
I felt like a 10-year-old kid where I'm like, maybe you can stay the whole weekend. I'll ask my mom. Like, I just love her. And this is what's so cool about life, dude. So funny because we were talking about friendships, but I'm like, not even, we just met, but we initially met for 2 minutes. Yeah. I saw her in the green room. I was like, you seem cool as hell. And we followed each other. Yeah. Hadn't talked since until I was thinking about guests, and I'm like, yo, I love her paintings. Let me hit her up.
Yeah.
And then just
being
in the room with her. We were all
like, we're not done.
Yeah.
Like, we got to pick this back up. But
yeah,
she's going and doing her thing, following her dream. And then when she gets back, we're going to have her back.
Exactly. So please check out Madeline Kiel's painting. That's Kiel. She's on Instagram. She gives her socials at the end, but check out Madeline Kiel.
Beautiful soul, beautiful painting.
Yeah. Cool, badass, cool.
She'll inspire you.
Yes, she will.
I think I felt inspired.
I do too.
Of just like, I mean, I feel like all three of us women, we're doing our thing and we lean in, but she just will inspire you to do it even more.
And we're all brunette.
Yeah.
That's cool as fuck. Okay, enjoy.
Bye.
God. I guess I got like really lucky, and one person said something. They're like, she has something in her nose, but like there
blocked.
was thousands. I was like, no, I don't. But you could easily tell. And then I think it happened again. I was like, well, whatever. It's kind of a hook, or a bait, because everyone's like, what's going on? And they're like, oh wow, it's a cowboy. Wow.
Dude, so we met so briefly. Like 2 minutes.
Yes. Yeah. It was like very quick.
Yeah.
But I remember when I heard you for the first time, we were dying.
Oh, thank you.
Oh no, we were dying. You were so good. And I was like, oh my God. And then Dex.
Yeah,
Dex. I can't. I know.
Okay.
You should know. I have an excuse, okay? But he was awesome too. But yeah, okay, I can't do that. But my
don't be comfortable for 1 second.
No. I just have to do this anyways. But it was cool. It was awesome. Yeah, very briefly.
We met in a green room. I opened for it. Your friend.
Yes, but it's not my friend. It was my friend's friend.
Okay. I was like, why don't you know his name?
No, that would be awful.
The universe conspired for y'all to meet.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
It was like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely love your paintings.
Oh, thank you.
I'm obsessed.
Thank you.
They look really cool. She was showing them to me. Those are amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I saw a little bit of, it looked like a documentary thing that you're doing on your Instagram, or was that just a...
I did it. I shot it like that, or because I wanted a documentary feel.
Oh, it looks so cool. So it's not a documentary.
Nope. It's just a trick of the eye.
Ooh.
I wanted like a commercial for like a documentary feel, sort of like a trailer.
Dude.
Yeah.
You crushed that.
Thank you. Is the one with the Cadillac?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You did that on your own?
Well, I had a crew, but like I hired them, and they're my good friends. Yeah.
God, I love women, dude.
I know.
So
Women,
smart.
we're innovative. We're like, how do I make this come together? Okay.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Well, you mentioned briefly in that clip, in that reel, that you were a musician.
Yes.
But you stopped at 13?
No. Okay. So I stopped painting at 13.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I completely stopped. Yeah.
Why?
And then I think it was because of, we'll go to the trauma section now. I was
You're
like, dude,
it wasn't good.
Are we
I wanna
in
hear
this
this
now?
answer.
Are we in it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, my name's Madeline Kiel.
Oh yeah.
Just figure, at least throw that in there. You're like, who is she? Wow, she's got trauma. Okay, so I stopped painting at 13 because it wasn't cool. It was like bullying, and I remember this one kid. I know it's really sad, but it's okay. It all works out. It all comes back together.
Oh.
But I remember this one kid, Tom, and I used to draw horses all the time, which like I was a horse girl too. Like I grew up on a cattle ranch drawing horses. So sweet. Really loved animals. Like always was really good with people, but like that's a mixture of a disaster. Like horse girl 13 drawing horses, showing your friends. Like it doesn't
Hide.
Yeah. It's like, wait a second. Pause. So anyways, I remember this one kid, Tom, I drew like a horse or something, or I don't know, and I shaded the horse's face or whatever it's called. And he like made fun of it. And I was like,
That little fucker.
Yeah.
little jealous little fucker. He was short. There was a lot of things going on, but no, no, we love short guys. But I gotta get him now. But anyways, and then I just completely shut down after
From that one thing, from that. With Tom.
I think Tom was the killer. The one thing. No, thank God. God, that would be pretty sad. No, I think it was like a cherry on top.
Yeah.
I think it was like I probably had a crush on Tom. I probably, all those things. And, and so, and art was never like encouraged growing up. It was like I grew up in a family that was all about like, oh, you're going to become a lawyer. And, and so I was like thinking about college at like 13. And so then, it was great, but it was a lot of pressure. And so I think when art was never this thing of like, wow, you're going to be an artist. And so I think when Tom just like, he just did
Did
Wow.
his Tom thing.
it was Tom. So anyways.
And you completely stopped drawing.
Oh, yeah. Like
even in private.
I really don't have like a ton of memories after that of drawing. I remember at 18, I went to college for like a second and drawing and painting with my friends because my roommate was an artist or one of my best friends. And I was like, oh, well, I can do this. I want to try. And that was it. But I would paint. Actually, like I remember I have this one sketch still. I got to find it. But it's this Native American woman and she's like got all these cool animals behind her. Like it was pretty badass. And so like at 19 or 18, it was like I would paint that. But then nothing. And then again at 22, I kind of started painting a little bit, but I was focused on music.
Yeah.
So it wasn't this like, it was always just this like side thing.
When you
weird.
stopped, did the like desire for it stop too? You were just like, I'm not interested, or were you like, oh, I wish I could paint?
I think it probably was a little bit of both. I really had a lot of social anxiety. I mean, who doesn't and didn't? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all did, especially in the early 2000s in high school. Like and I was not skinny, and so like that, it was just I was not blonde, not skinny. I lived in California. It was like a mix of like just bad, and so couldn't wear those low-rise jeans.
Fuck those jeans though. What the hell?
I know, but I still now that they're coming back, I'm like,
You're
oh
excited?
My God. Yes. Ew. No, I love them. I just got to figure it out. I'm like, okay, still not skinny, so let's, I got to figure it out. But whatever. I just put like elastic in them, and it's really bad. But I'm like, I'm wearing low rise. Oh God, I'm distracted now.
Oh yeah, like did you crave to paint?
Yes, a little bit. I'd say both. Again, I was so involved with music that it was like I started singing and like really taking it seriously and applied for this like college that, was a highly accredited music college. And so my whole world was that, and I was good at it. Like I was getting attention for it. So it wasn't like it was unbalanced where I, was just stuffing this gift down.
Yeah.
It was like I had something else that consumed my attention.
How did, because your family wasn't really an artsy family.
Mm-mm.
How was music more accepted?
Yeah.
It wasn't. I think the only reason why it was, I kind of was like failing in high school. And even though which I didn't have to. Like, I was a straight A student. Like, I just chose to at one point because I was so sick of the pressure, I think. And I was like, fuck this. Yeah. So, and then...
kind of badass.
I know, kind of, until I'm like, wow, I wish I could have graduated with straight A's and, done something different. But, and so, but I fell in love with music, and they were accepting of it because there was opportunities to go to college for it and really get a good degree. And I think there wasn't many options for me at that point, and I was like good at it and stubborn. And so they were like, all right, well, let's get you to the best music school. And then, but then I totally dropped out. And then, and then I'm going to throw you another boomerang or a curveball.
Yeah.
I dropped out and actually became a missionary.
Wait, what?
At 19. And I moved to China.
Oh,
I know.
You've lived like 10 lives.
No,
Yeah.
like, I know. No, I feel like I have.
Yeah.
I'm like,
How long were you in China?
only 3 months.
Okay.
that's a long time though.
Yeah.
To be in a different country.
Yeah, and at 19. And if you know anything about like the church and in China, like it's completely illegal. And so like we had to use code names. We had to do all this stuff. Like it was all very like, I couldn't post anything. I couldn't, in emails, we had to like, I don't know. It's all illegal there. Like totally illegal. It's called I think it's called the 1040 window.
What?
Wow.
What
I know.
appealed to you? What about this appealed to you?
Yeah. I think I kind of got to the end of my rope. Like I grew up in a pretty wealthy family, and it was, and they're amazing. My whole family's truly wonderful, but I kind of just capped on like anything that was stereotypical, and I had just, I think I just got to the end of that, and I was like, I just want to be doing something that made me feel alive, and people
Wow.
and God, and just this whole concept of, living a lifestyle that was, out of the ordinary, just really appealed to me. And so, and I really fell in love with humanity. Like, it was like, I mean, I was in that sort of lifestyle for 6-7 years.
What do you mean that's
Missions lifestyle.
Wow.
So I was living as like a volunteer. And I, after China, I ended up moving to one of like the most dangerous projects here in Nashville. And I lived in the projects for like 6 years and worked with addicts and prisoners and low-income families and did that. And it was amazing. But at the end of that, I really just didn't have anything outside of a good heart. And so at 26, then I pivoted again. I moved to Hawaii. Yeah, I'm trying to like bring it all in like this short amount of time that we have.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
There you go.
Did you grow up Christian?
no. I became I guess I did, but I became a Christian when I was 12. I remember because I remember going back to colleges. My parents put me in a private school, and it was a Christian school, and I just was like, wow, this Jesus thing really made sense to me. And so
Aw.
I became a Christian then. And then my faith and my journey with it has had 100 different lives as well. So, it's been a wild life so far,
Yeah.
experiencing a lot of different things and people. And
Are you an only child?
Nope. I have a brother and a sister.
So the pressure's kind of spread out a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm the firstborn of everyone. There you go. She's like psychoanalyzing me. She's like, I can't wait to talk after and during. Total firstborn, high performance family. And so when I couldn't perform, I was like, fuck this. I'm going to go to China. Then I'm going to go live in the projects.
Well, it seems like that's the pattern of just like trying to be different in a different way.
Yes.
Yeah, than your family maybe.
Yeah, and it was cool because it actually influenced my family. So they ended up, so we had a big cattle ranch, and when I was kind of going through this awakening in some ways, what is life? Who am I? What's the value of life? Whatever. They ended up really getting involved with the homeless in our town and they turned the cattle ranch into like a homeless ranch. And they had, I mean, you would come on the ranch and there would be tents everywhere and homeless people would be living in the barns. And
Wow.
yeah, so it was really cool.
Yeah.
They learned a lot from that season, you know, and they had no background in therapy or anything
Right.
to work with addicts. And so, but it was just this, okay, how do we start exploring this place of compassion? And,
Yeah.
you know, it's
beautiful.
interesting. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of worked out together. But
What happened in Hawaii?
oh yeah, Hawaii, right? Okay, so 26, I leave Nashville. So I was working in the projects, and I leave, and I moved to Hawaii because I just needed to reset. I was like, I have to find myself. I have to be selfish. I had just like given so much of my whole self to, you know, church, to people, to, you know, all these things that were just pulling at me. And I was like, so I left, moved to Hawaii. And it was probably the best 2 years of my life. And some of my best friends were out there, and I was still working in ministry. I was a worship leader for a big church out there, and then worked in the jungle at this little coffee shop.
Yo, that's cool as
It was
fuck.
really cool. It was awesome.
What
And
island were you on?
I was on the Big Island.
I love Hawaii, dude.
It's perfect. I know.
That's dope.
It was very interesting. It was, no, it was the best. You know, I was tan all the time, and I mean, you can't go wrong. Like, I definitely, it was wonderful. But during that time, I met one of my like dearest best friends, and also for me, at that time I was just like pushing away all art and all music. It was just
I was
kind
gonna
of
ask
like
if you stopped doing music.
I stopped doing well, besides worship
Well, you
leading.
moved there to find yourself. So what did you find?
Ooh, I found that I had no idea what the hell I was doing or what the fuck I believed. Like I realized that I think that was a big time for me where if you've ever, been in the church for a long time, or really not even in the church, but in a culture that is very pigeonholed, and then you come out of it, you're just like, whoa, wait a second. I just gave so much of my time, my life, my energy, my way of thinking, my value system, everything was underneath this umbrella. And so in Hawaii, it was really just the undoing of that. And it was like allowing myself to, think outside my box of whatever I considered a box and reset and which led me back to Nashville to do music and to go back to what I was saying is I met one of my dearest friends out there. She was a big influence on me coming back to Nashville. Her grandma is Loretta Lynn, and I didn't know who Loretta Lynn was.
Who is this friend?
Emmy Russell. Do you know Emmy?
I don't know Emmy, but I worked with Loretta Lynn's granddaughter for a long time when I was in my 20s.
Taylor?
Beth
Okay.
Lyle is her last name.
Okay, I think she's got a lot of granddaughters, but there's this one, she and she's in the music industry and everything. She's amazing anyways, and she was like, you're really talented with music. You have to come back out to Nashville, and that gave me enough courage to like reset and be like, okay, I'm gonna go for the rock and roll dream again that I had at 18.
Wow.
That I left to go do this whole God thing.
Yeah.
That I am now trying to go back and like go back to the original desire that I had.
Can I ask?
Yes.
I love it. In Hawaii, you were like trying to unlearn, find yourself, figure some
Yes.
things out.
Yeah.
You were doing music, but what did that
How did that?
look like? Because
Yeah.
you're still doing something.
I was doing
that-
worship, so it was still within a church culture.
Is there a point in which you kind of deconstructed?
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
Yes.
Just not in Hawaii.
No, it started there.
Okay.
And I think I have, it's interesting. Like I like the word deconstructed, but I also feel like it was, I just let go of things. It
Yeah.
was like, I don't want to pigeonhole myself in another place of now I'm this deconstructed Christian.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people that do that. And I'm like, you're kind of in the same, you're just in a different religion now.
Right.
You're just in a different thing. And so I think for me, it was like, I just don't want to be tied to anything. I don't want to be tied to this. I don't want to be tied to that. I just want to be able to be
That's
and
cool.
express. And if you want to say I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. If you want to say I'm not a Christian, I don't give a fuck. The heart of it should express, the heart of it is what matters the most. It doesn't matter how you label yourself. I mean, I've met so many people that they're like, I'm a Christian or whatever, and they're the worst people in the world.
Yeah.
Or there's these people that are like, I want nothing to do with that, but they resemble Jesus and the heartbeat of what I would hope that Christianity really could come back to, they represent it so well. So it's like, anyways, I feel like I might have answered whatever question that was.
You were on your way to figuring things out,
yes,
letting go
of
things that pigeonholed you in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Then got led back to Nashville to do music.
Yes.
At 28?
26, 27.
Okay, gotcha.
No, 28. You're right, because 26 was Hawaii. I'm all confused.
But you had that yearning in you to like, I got to get back to the rock star thing.
Yes.
And her confirming that was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. And it was, it gave me, the fire that it was just like, I just got to get back out. And so ended up coming back out, recording this project, put all my money into it. COVID happened. All the connections I had just shut everything down. And it was like, I was running out of money and I was working as a nanny and cleaning houses and was just like trying to figure out what the hell am I going to do with no degree, with now no money, and and just being like, how am I surviving, I guess, or like how do I find myself again? And so, and going into the painting thing is, my mom, she was like, well, Maddie, you've always painted, for a while. I painted growing up, like I said, or whatever, and people have always really liked it. I've always got good feedback. She was like, why don't you just try to start an art business? And
That's so nice of her.
So sweet. She was like so encouraging, great. And I was like, okay. And so I started painting, and it really took off. And it was cool though, because so the reason why I started painting in the first place, was to make money. But then I kept getting these visions of these like old cowboys and Native Americans. And I kept seeing specifically like Black cowboys and Mexican cowboys and all these things. And I couldn't shake it. And so I started painting these like old cowboys that I would find on the internet. And I just, would think their face was cool or their story. And I'd always wanted to be a portraitist. That was another thing. Like I didn't do that when I was painting earlier. Like I did sketch. I remember sketching very few faces, but I was never good at a full face. I could only do the eyes. Oh, wow. So then when I started painting again, I was like, all right, I got to figure out this portrait thing. And so I remember my first portrait that I did when I really started pressing into, the type of art that I wanted to do was this old Native American man, Siwatawa is his name. He's like died in 1904, I think. But he was this like badass leader that like, withstood like the government and like just like was a total rock star. And I was like, I had to paint him. Anyways, so then that kind of just like
set everything
on fire. Yeah. And then I painted Snoop Dogg, and then that really set it socially on fire. But I had no idea or didn't think that I'd ever have art be the thing that opens the door for me. Like it was always music. Like, and then even going into art and painting, like it was never like this desire of like, well, I'm going to try to open these doors for me. Like I let go of this whole desire to be a rock star. I let go of the whole desire to be anything that was like considered special or like whatever. And then, so that was interesting that when I let it go. Yeah.
Letting go of all those, the outcome, the attachment to an outcome. And just being in the moment of what I call flow.
Yes.
And that's where I think it happens. That's amazing.
Like the magic comes in and you're just like, wait, I don't understand this. And then it all starts, it just like shows up. So anyways, that's.
It's beautiful.
Oh,
I get little
you.
like glowy little butterfly feelings when you talk about your story.
Good.
In so many ways.
Me so happy.
I love that you mentioned that you weren't good at drawing faces. Like you can only do the eyes, but you had this like, you're like, I know I want to do this. And so you just like let that ride. I think that's just so nice to hear as a creative. Like you have this. I think about me with crowd work. Like I used to be so scared of it,
Right.
and
Wow.
admire it so much. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. And now I'm like good at it.
Really good at it.
But thank you.
Yeah.
But it's just so beautiful to hear like an artist be like, I have this like feeling inside, but I
Right.
wasn't always a mass. I didn't just
I
become a
didn't
mass.
do that. Yeah, like that was the most intimidating portion for me was the
Aw.
rest of the face. And then, but it is fascinating. It's like when you have that little inkling and like this fear stands right between you and your breakthrough or whatever
Yes.
the hell's on the other side of it. You have no idea. And then you got to jump and you got to figure it out. And, I think that for me, there was a lot of times in my life where I had to just jump and I was like totally afraid of like the change or whatever and everything weirdly would fall into place. And so I feel like there's this pattern of like actually every time I risk and try something new, so far things are falling into place. Yeah,
That's dope.
It's been pretty fun.
What was it like to have? So like Snoop Dogg popped you off socially. You said,
Yeah, I want to know what that entailed.
Yeah.
what that felt
It-
like.
Do it.
I don't know.
Oh no. It was, for me. So I remember it was about 3 years ago, I think, and I had posted him to TikTok, and
Solid.
yeah, which I wish I would have like gotten on TikTok during COVID.
Yeah, bro.
And started like painting whatever. It doesn't even matter. It was like you could like there's some accounts that like. And God bless her. She's making millions off of just these little flowers that she paints. And I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I just post?
You're on there now, though, right?
I am on there now. Yeah, I've got to get my game going again.
It's a full-time job.
It's literally a full-time job. And it drains you.
Yeah.
You're like, I hate this. Can I chuck this app against the wall? Like it's golden handcuffs. It's like,
Yeah.
it's feeding me. It's amazing. It's changing my entire life,
Yes.
but it is like, whoa, that's heavy.
Yeah.
So anyways, but I'm very thankful for it.
We love TikTok.
We love it so much.
Don't take it from us.
Yeah, this is, I'm looking straight at the camera. Yeah, so it popped off on TikTok. And I'd posted stuff before, and I just remember I wasn't even finished with the painting when I had posted it.
Ooh.
And it like, got almost 1 million views or whatever. And that was a really big deal for me. And so I like quickly finished the painting overnight, and then I started selling prints and everything. And I just put it on my website. Okay, you can get a print. I was going to figure it out. And I had no idea where to get prints, but I was like, I'm not going to waste this energy. Well, and I had been nannying and, like I said, cleaning houses. And so it wasn't like, which I know the contradiction, a lot of people go, wait, you grew up in this wealthy family and then here you're nannying and cleaning houses. It was pretty nice when I had the credit card when I was like 10, and I, it was really, really fun. But then it totally got cut off. And I'm not wealthy. So just letting everyone know, it's not that. It is very much like it's very separate. And, things change and economic crash. I don't have to go dive into my family's financial history, but I just want to clarify because they're like, bitch, you just said that you did this and now you're cleaning houses. But it's true. So, which was very humbling for me. And it was so good to, strip myself of whatever ego
Bet you
I
learned
had.
so much doing that, right?
Yeah, emotionally. Yeah. And I learned that I'm really bad at cleaning. Like so bad. No, like you have no idea. I'm like sweeping things and just like there's a rug and I'm like, I just don't care. I just want to go home. Yeah, no, it was bad. Like God bless my friends. And we're like, you can make money by cleaning. And I'm like, all right. No. So bad.
So you leaned in when it popped off. You were like, I'm leaning into this.
Yes, I'm leaning into this. Started making some money off of that. And then I just kept pressing into that. And I did with Khalifa next. And
Let's go.
yeah, it was just this really cool domino effect of like, okay. Well, and what was cool is, the reason why I painted Snoop too was because I wanted to share these untold stories of these cowboys that we don't know of in the history of the cowboy in the American West and how much of it's rooted in Black America. And, and there's so many, we all know about John Wayne, who's not a cowboy, but we don't know about, Bill Pickett or Bass Reeves or any of these other characters and
I don't know
people,
those names.
right,
Yeah.
that were cowboys from the beginning. And the word cowboy, from what I've learned, was given to a Black man first because it was during the time of slavery, there were the houseboys, the field boys, and the cowboys.
Oh,
and
wow.
so the term cowboy was like a slave term. And even rodeos started during that period from what I've learned. I've had a lot of people that sometimes, on social media come back and they're like, you're not right. But everything that I've,
love to do that.
I'm like, okay, I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
But I've talked to different people that, teach the subject and one of the things was rodeos were started because they would entertain themselves by riding the bulls. And people would
Wow.
come gather and watch, and it was like a game. It was like who can stay on the bull the longest sort of thing.
Wow.
So you have this culture that was so rooted in this that we don't ever know about. And so, and I naturally feel like I have this part of my heart that leans into, justice and wanting to help, people be seen that haven't been seen. And so, and going back to Snoop, so when I painted Snoop, it was like, how do I give face to the Black cowboy that could go farther than if I painted someone that we know nothing of, like a face of Bass Reeves. No one's going to know who that is,
Right.
but they're going to know Snoop Dogg's face. And you throw a cowboy hat on him. And this was 3 years ago. Now you've got Shabuzi, you've got the Compton Cowboys, you got all this, you have Beyonce doing her thing. And, but this was 3 years ago. So there wasn't that, it wasn't in your face. Whereas now it is. And so when it popped off, I remember I had a lot of people be like, this is super disrespectful. And I'm like, this actually is out of a place of honor of like the history of, the cowboy really is tied to Black America. And so then that kind of, it took this, the universe or whatever you want to call it, Destiny kind of took, the pop culture thing and then tied it to this, the justice part. And I've kind of developed this niche out of the two.
Yeah.
So, and then it's been wonderful. So,
Dude, that's so cool.
It's very fun.
Very cool.
I have so many thoughts. One, I just you said this before, but you were having visions.
yeah.
Can you describe? Was it just like during
does
the
that
day?
even mean?
You're just like
Yeah, I'm like, that's so Raven.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wish. Wouldn't that be cool? No. I think when I say the word vision, it was like, I just kept seeing these images in my mind.
That's dope.
And I couldn't shake it. And then it was like, I remember when I was driving down 8th Avenue and I was listening to Snoop's record or whatever. It was like one he had put out like a couple years ago. And, and he had a phrase in it. He was like, I'm back or something like that. And instantly I saw him as this cowboy and my whole body got chills. And I was like, I have to paint him. And I couldn't shake it. And I actually wanted to start painting him, but I had to leave for this trip. I was going to Greece and Israel to go visit a good friend of mine. And the whole time I was there, I was just like itching to go back and paint, which is so rare for me. Yeah, especially when you're in Greece or Israel. You're not like, really, I want to go back to Nashville to my room to go paint for no one. Yeah, but I couldn't shake it. And so I think there was really something on it, as far as like, it was part of what was going to lead me to this next chapter in my life. And so, yeah, it's kind of fun. So the vision thing, it's just kind of like images that pop in my head or an impression or dreams, just kind of like where when you're not necessarily looking for it, but all of a sudden you kind of just get these impressions that come out of nowhere and you're like, this is interesting. And, so that's how I would define vision.
I love that. And the second thing that came up is like, it's so cool when that you popped off of it, because it's so good. Your art is so good.
Thank you.
And I'm sure it's so exciting to be getting recognition and being like, oh, this thing that I have in my soul is like resonating with people.
Right.
And then you kind of mentioned the people who are like, actually, this is
Right. Right. They're like, who are you to do this? And you're like, yeah.
Right. How do you deal with that?
It's interesting.
Asking for somebody.
Yeah, if someone got their feelings hurt from comments, not me.
Let's just say there's this person. She's a comedian.
She was late this morning.
She's dealing with this. What would you tell her? I feel like, I don't know. Like, there's one comment that comes to mind,
Yep.
Yeah. And you're
It just
like,
takes one.
Yeah, it does.
well, and you know what? I think it's feeling misunderstood. And I think that there is that portion of it where it's like, the race subject is so sensitive. And, it's like, gosh, how do I can't prove to you where my heart's at.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's, even if I was to try to prove to you and show you all of my history with people that was not seen, it wasn't posted to social media. I wasn't trying to become this famous Christian, or whatever, not even Christian, but just famous compassion person, whatever. I don't even know. But, even if I was to show you all those good things, like, people are still going to come up with whatever they want to in their mind and like misunderstand you. So I think for me, it was like, I just had to really let go of this, I'm going to be misunderstood. And I'm going to be seen as, the bad guy in moments or untrusting or whatever. And it's like, I can't prove it, but I know that, if I just keep moving forward and like, doing what I feel like I'm supposed to do. Like, I didn't ask for this impression. I didn't ask for this desire to paint this specific thing. Like, wasn't like I was like Googling, like, what's a really good thing to paint that's going to stress me out. And, I didn't. This is like, again, I wish I was the girl on TikTok that painted fucking flowers. Like, that is fast, easy money. That is like there's no drama to it. And, no, I get to paint something that causes tension. But at the same time, the amount of comments that I've had that are so positive outweigh those ones that are awful. And so I think that, which is funny, because it's like, you could have like 10,000 comments that are like, this is amazing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the one, and you're just like, oh my gosh. So,
because it's like you're having fun. You're like, oh my God. And then someone comes out and just punches you in the face. And you're like, God dang, dude.
yeah.
It's hard to just keep being like,
wow. Yeah.
You're going to focus on the punch a little bit.
Exactly. You're like, fuck, that really hurt.
Right.
And then you try to get up, and then it happens again. And then this, and so then you kind of and you're tempted to fight back. My God. I'm just like, can I go off?
I want to go off so bad.
I know.
But when you do, you get punished.
You are canceled.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
Like, you're the bad guy. And you're like, I have to just let it go.
Yeah, it's really hard to play the high ground.
I know. There was this one comment that happened on TikTok, and it was this artist. It was not even it, and she was like, she's jealous. She was like, wow, I'm sure you get like a lot of joy, but no money out of this. And this other person commented, and they were going back and forth, and I just like left it, because I was like,
Boost that real, baby.
yeah, I was like, sure, yeah, the negative stuff, it's all good for algorithm. Drama is great, we all love it. But I was like, I kind of was like, do I comment back and be like, I'm sorry, that's your experience with art, that's not been mine. But I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it. It doesn't matter. But again, little tiny dumbass comments like that.
Yeah,
I just have to learn how to let them go.
And when you do, I feel like in my experience, by the next day, it's gone. I mean, there's still little traces, but you're like, oh, I'm glad I didn't like clap back.
Yes.
Because it would have been
idiotic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just can't look back at anything I've posted. And that's my biggest fear too, is that like something's going to come up in 10 years from now. And they're like, look at what she said to like Carmen928 on Instagram. And it's like, oh my God.
I know. I just posted this thing on TikTok that was like, someone I follow got in trouble for clapping back, whatever. And I was like, hey, basically this conversation, I was like, it's very hard to take the high ground. You don't know, like, think of the kid in high school that got bullied all the time.
Right.
And then they scream or they run through the halls like anime to try to deal. And people are like, what a weirdo. And it's like, no, you have pushed them to the brink.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody was like, wow. Like, a lot of people in the comments were like, wow, you are such a kind, amazing, such a good person. And I'm like, yes. But also, let's calm down.
Okay.
Because something's going to come up.
Right.
Where I was also like, I've been very mean to J-Lo on social media.
Right, I know.
You know?
I haven't on social media, but I'm in my living room with my friends. I'm like, wait a second.
What is she doing?
We love J-Lo.
We do.
We love J-Lo.
But it's a balance, you know? Like, I've noticed I've scrolled through the comments and it'll be like, you know, people will be like, I hate you, die, you're not funny.
Right.
And the very next comment is like, you saved my life with what you're doing. And I'm like,
exactly. You're like this. No, it's a lot. It's a lot. And you're
and
like,
you have to live in the middle somewhere where you're like, I'm just being authentic.
exactly.
And I'm just going to keep doing that.
I have to just let the pieces fall where they're going to fall.
You won't be for everyone
Right.
Yeah.
in life in general, whether you're on. I mean, I don't have the experience y'all have of being on social media, but I interact with a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay.
Does it hurt you when someone comes to a session and then is like, no, we're not a good fit?
No, maybe when I was younger. I really don't have that happen very much. Normally it's like they're just not ready for that type of therapy yet. But I remember as a younger therapist, but I'm just like, even because I have a practice with people that work for me, like it's not always a good fit. And it's always disappointing or sad, but it's just like,
not
well,
on
that's
you.
what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of lessons of trying to realize like it's not, you know, I carry a lot of it, you know, and to let it go. I think it's Mel Robbins, but just that phrase, let them.
Yes. Yeah,
I think
that's
her. Okay. I try to just say that all the time.
Yeah.
Just let them.
100%.
let them-
Because when you get
Do
when
that.
you get caught up in I need them to know and understand, and it's kind of like, as long as I know, I operate with good intention and openness and love and kindness and compassion, like I'm okay. And if they want to get close enough to me to learn that and move through something, good. If not, let them.
Right.
You know, let them do whatever they need.
What do you think little Madeline would say about you painting as a living?
Oh my God. I think she'd be stoked out of her mind.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to do, well, I remember being like 7. I took my only art class and I wanted to do art. Like that's what I wanted to do.
Oh
and
my
so I
goodness.
think it's fun. And I'm about to, actually I'm leaving for Italy in like 3 weeks to go study classical portraiture in Florence. So I think little Madeline is just
We're going
like,
with you. We're going with you.
yeah, let's go. I have a little apartment right downtown Florence. I know it's such a little like Sister of the Traveling Pants Rory move. Yeah, I'm just like whoa. But we have necklaces, Sister of the Traveling necklaces. Because
Are they coming too?
no, I wish. But and
It's
that
just you.
Wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. Anyways, but whatever. Yeah, it's just me. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, you're going for how long?
Only a month. Wow. Yeah.
It's gonna fly by.
I know. It's very exciting. And but it's like every day, 9 to 5. What? I know. And they're gonna kick my ass.
Yeah.
I can't wait because I've never had training
Yeah.
and I need it.
Dude, you've never had training?
Never.
That's so cool.
Never.
You listening to this podcast right now, go look up Madeline Kiel right now, while you're driving. Open up another tab. Don't look at the road.
Don't look at the road. Yeah. Pull
Focus
over.
fully.
Get to a gas station.
And look up Madeline's art because that is impressive. Is just not. It's like it's a word above impressive.
thank you.
Your art.
Yeah. Thank
That's crazy. I feel like that's going to, because you've always wanted to do portraits. That's gonna.
No, it's gonna-
You're gonna be buzzing like a little bee.
I'm going to be so excited. And just to feel this release of like, I have this foundation, a little bit of a foundation to know what the fuck I'm doing. Because there has been so much trial and error. And I'm like, I need to get faster at this. I need to not be emotionally depleted because I can't figure out the colors right now. I need to cut all that bullshit out so I can just focus. And so that's where training is going to be great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have to apply to that, or
I did, yeah, last year.
Whoa.
12 students get in, and I'm really excited.
Oh my God, I'm so excited
I
for
know.
you.
dude?
I know. We have like Italian love.
I literally, I
I'm
didn't want to
gonna-
put that on you because I'm like, I don't know your business, but I'm like,
Hell yeah.
you're gonna find somebody.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I want to find someone long term because
No.
Yeah. Okay.
You paint each other. You're naked all the time
just like-
until you go to class.
I'm like
you know,
Fabio, whatever.
Yes.
Fabio, I think it's an Italian name. Whatever. No, we can totally put that out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
If we're gonna really get specific, Rich
Yes.
has like a vineyard. Like we need like a full Tuscan love experience.
Yes, I love
But I
that.
also need to be
update
really
episode.
focused. So you can't take from the 9 to 5, but
Oh.
he can buy me things. So, it's just
Oh, I love that for you.
thank you.
I can't wait. Are you gonna post some stuff?
Hell yeah. Yes, I am going to use this to my advantage in so many ways. Yeah, who doesn't want to see a girl skipping off to Italy to go live her dreams?
Everybody wants to see that.
I want to see it. And I'm just like, I need to tap in and get back into my social media like grit. I
Yeah.
like lost it and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
That's okay. It's a flow.
Ugh,
You
I know, but it is a flow.
I know. I
get
know.
back in it. Yeah.
Okay, we have to wrap up, which makes me
Ugh,
very sad
so
and mad.
sad.
It makes
It
me
goes by
all the
fast.
feelings.
I know, we're now friends.
I know. I'm so excited. There was something. Oh, I just want to. Maybe this could be a thing in the future, but I'm like, I think it would be so cool if maybe there was a couple people, because this sounds like a lot on one person, but if there was like a comedy show and comedians got portraits during
Hell yeah.
the show
Oh yeah.
of like, I just think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, like a live painting, but of just all together. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah. Maybe something in the future, but
I would be there.
oh
Yeah.
yes.
I would want to watch.
I think it would be sweet, right?
would be, yeah.
Art just like
And then,
merging.
and then you have like the therapist on the side that like you're saying something and then she gets to pop in and be like, okay, so this is rooted in this
Honestly,
experience. So
please. So we usually ask 2 questions, and I think I still want to ask them because I love them. Sure. But I also want to ask this question that you brought up, and I've seen it came from another podcast. I don't know which one. Sorry. But if you were watching a movie, if you're watching a movie of your life, you're the main character, you're watching the movie, what would you be shouting at yourself right now? You know, when people are like, don't go back there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Ooh, that is a really good
Isn't
question.
that good? It's
Yeah.
been circling. It's been circling.
What would I be shouting at myself right now? I think I'd be in the time where it's like, it's the cheerleading time.
Yeah.
It's the like, hell yeah, go for it. Like, don't go back. Like, you're like,
Do it.
yes, it
Love.
feels like that era.
Oh,
yes.
I love that.
Also, I feel like I'd be like, stop questioning yourself.
Yeah.
That would be a big one. And questioning and getting hung up on things that in the grand scheme, you know, the bigger picture, the movie picture, you're like, I can see what the next spot's going to be. So why are you stuck in this loop of like, what's not enough, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, I love that.
And then our 2 questions that we ask are, what's the best advice you've ever received?
And then what's the worst?
Oh.
we always get that. Oh.
Worst advice. I feel like the worst advice, I can't think of like a specific thing off the top of my head, but well, actually, I remember when I was 19 and I had switched up everything, dropped out of college. My whole family was really disappointed in me, super disappointed. So, and the night before I was leaving to go to China and all these things, they cussed me out for like hours. And they were like, this is the worst thing you've ever done. Like, this is going to fail. And it hasn't. And it's actually all come back together. And I think that, you know, I also think that, so I think that the advice there has backfired in a good way.
Yeah.
Best advice, I don't know. I again, I can't like think of like a moment of like just solid advice, but I think in it's just like the not giving up thing. And I think just really being brave. I think that's huge. Like, you don't know what's on the other side of something. Like, there's so many times I could have just said, you know, I feel defeated and really heartbroken that the whole, you know, church thing kind of crumbled before my eyes.
Yeah.
That was really heartbreaking. And I could have, you know, left and not decided to not go after music again, or to go after art, or to put myself on the line again.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the best piece of advice. It's
Yes.
Theodore Roosevelt. And it's this quote, and I threw my phone on the ground, so I can't find it.
Literally threw.
But it's this quote, and it's about the man in the arena. I don't know if you've ever heard this quote.
Brene Brown.
Yes.
But
so
she changes it to woman in the arena.
yes, and it's about this, like, Theodore Roosevelt, I'll kind of sum it up. He says it's not the critic that counts. It's not the person standing on the sidelines. It's not the one who says you need to do this. It's the man in the arena with his face down in the dirt, marred with like sweat and blood. And it's this, like, okay, where do you even get your advice? If I don't respect you, if I don't respect what you're doing or where you're going in life, I'm not going to take your advice. So
Haters in the comments.
yeah,
Right.
sorry. But it's the picture of, like, man, like, I want my life to look like I want to be in the arena.
Let's go.
I don't want to be in the sidelines. Sidelines are so easy to yell and to see things and to say whatever, but you yourself have capped. You're capped because you're in your own fear thing. I think when people are in the arena, they have respect for everyone else that is going through the ups and downs, because they're like, fuck, I get it. Like, I actually, you know, I'm not judging you because I'm actually in this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the judgment always comes from people that think they're higher than you.
Yeah.
Or better.
But are scared.
But they're scared. So that's Theodore Roosevelt for the win. And Brene Brown.
And Madeline Kiel. Tell people where to find you at. Like, follow you.
Madeline Kiel. Madeline Kiel, Kiel. Everyone's, like, not sure how to spell it. Obviously, it's very random. But Madeline Kiel on Instagram, on TikTok, MadelineKiel.com. My number is, no, I'm just kidding.
Come on, Italy.
No, I know. I'm like, if you are Italian.
Nashville Italian.
Yeah, no, we'll leave it. We need it straight from the source.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh my gosh, Amber, thank you so much.
Oh my God, I'm so glad that we, like, got to know each other more. I
know.
knew you were gonna be cool as fuck.
Yes. I
You're the
felt the
best.
same way. I'm, like, really excited to meet you too.
Yes.
When I heard you guys do this podcast with the comedy and the trauma therapist, I was like, this is genius. And the it's fine. I'm fine, it's fine.
Great, right? Everybody says that. They're like,
No.
it's good, it's good. I'm like,
It's so everything.
Oh,
yeah.
thank
So
you.
continue to pop off.
Oh, tears.
Yes,
I want to say, before we wrap up, the being in the arena, I think you do that well.
thank you.
Like, from everything you've shared,
Thanks.
you've done that throughout your life. You're always, like, pushing into the next thing and getting in there. And it's so easy to be on the sidelines. So
Thank you.
I think you're doing
That
it.
means a lot.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. We'll be cheering you on too.
Woohoo!
From Italy.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to I'm Fine, It's Fine podcast. If you would like to continue to support us, please join us on our new Substack, which you can find at imfineitsfine.substack.com. We would love to connect with you there, and we can't wait to continue to grow this podcast with you. Additional ways you can support the podcast are by following us on Instagram at I'm Fine, It's Fine podcast. And you can follow Amber at Amber Autry Comedy, as well as Melanie at Trauma Therapy Nashville. We look forward to your support.